What's up guys, it's Will here from W.T.F Car Reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing this all-new 2021 Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint.
Alright guys, before we start, I just want to give a huge thank you to Alfa Romeo and Maserati of St. Petersburg for making this review possible. These guys are extremely kind, they have great knowledge on cars, and their inventory is super impressive. I'll leave all their information below, but if you're in the Florida area looking for a new car, I would definitely suggest checking these guys out.
So for those of you guys who don't know, the Giulia has been in Alfa Romeo's lineup since 2015, coming to dealerships around 2016. So it really took the world by storm. Of course, it was offered with a base 2-liter turbocharged engine with an optional V6 2.9-liter twin turbo, which made over 500 horsepower for the Quadrifoglio model. But for 2021, Alfa Romeo released this Sprint model for the Giulia. Of course, you're still getting the 2-liter turbocharged engine making 280 horsepower and 306 pound-feet of torque, enough to get this 3,500-pound sedan to 60 in around 5 seconds, which is very fast for a vehicle in this segment. Remember, this car has a base price of $39,000. Absolutely fantastic bargain considering what you get. But let's jump right in. So coming out front, you're going to notice your LED headlights. They are projector bulb for the low and high beam. I like this little silver trim underneath it. It's very nice. It's not chrome, it's not a reflective material, but it looks very high quality with a black panel on the outside of your headlight. But up top, you're gonna have your daytime running strip. We'll check that out once we start this car up. And I like how they gave you a little Alfa Romeo nameplate on the side. But coming down here, you're gonna notice you got some airflow over here. This area over here is blocked off and you're not gonna get any active airflow for your brakes or aerodynamics on the side, but not a big deal. This is going to be going towards your intercooler, and over here you got some additional airflow as well. But unlike the Stelvio that we reviewed, we don't get any cross supports in front of your intercooler, but we'll check it out once we pop the hood to see if you get any strut tower braces or whatnot. But over here you got your Alfa Romeo badge. You got this really nice silver trim. I like how it's not a shiny chrome material, right? Matched really well with your black grille. But over here to the side, you're going to notice this is where your advanced safety features are going to be housed. But let's take a step back, just check out the styling on this front end. And let's go ahead and check out the wheel and tire setup on this 2021 Giulia. So over here, we're going to have our 225/45 R18, so 18-inch rims. They're going to be wrapped in Continental Pro Contact all-season sport tires. So pretty good overall compound for sporty driving while still keeping the vehicle very capable for all weather conditions. But I like the rims. I like the angled spokes. It's not a shiny silver, which is also nice. It's like a little gunmetal gray, but pretty good overall. In front, you're gonna have your massive 4-piston brakes. They're not gonna be colored, but that's also an option. Right here, we just have our flat silver Brembo Alfa Romeo brakes, and you got your Alfa Romeo nameplate over here. But anyway, you can take a step over here, check out your mirrors. They are color matched, and the glass is pretty large. It fills up the frame pretty well. No blind spot monitoring, but of course, that is an option. But over here, we do get smart access for the driver and the front passenger. No smart access for the rear, but that's of course expected. But let's take a look at this window sticker really quick. Yes, the base price in this car, only $39,450, which is an absolutely absurd value. The only options we have here are the $750 Sprint rear-wheel drive package, which gives you Sirius satellite radio with these 18-inch rims, because of course the standard rims are only 17s. But after the $750 option and a pretty hefty destination charge, you're still sitting at a price around $41,495. So I think this is a really good value. As we continue this review, you guys are going to see why I believe that to be the case. But you guys can pause, check out the standard equipment. Yes, of course, we get the remote start. We get a backup camera with parking sensors. You got cruise control, power folding, heated mirrors. It's nice that they gave you that. It would be nice if they gave you blind spot on top of it, but it's still nice that they gave you the folding mirrors. So over here, we also get a carbon fiber drive shaft. I'm sure a lot of people that buy this car don't really care about that, but of course you can pause, check out all the features. Of course, we also get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto on an 8.8-inch touchscreen display. We also get a 7-inch cluster display with an 8-speaker audio system. It does sound very good. So as far as the seats, you're going to check out, we have the red interior here, and it looks beautiful. The seats are going to be 6-way power adjustable, so no, when it comes to height adjustments, they're only adjustable in one direction. You can't adjust whether the seat is like tilted back or forward with a height adjustment, if that makes any sense, but they still go up and down. But anyway, you guys can see that you have memory seats, 3-person memory seats for the driver. It comes on run flat tires, but that's of course the standard equipment. We have an optional different set of tires. But anyway, you get your bi-xenon headlamps, so you got 4-wheel disc brakes, Brembo front brakes, LED daytime running lights, and LED tail lamps. So after all that, total price is going to be sitting around $41,500. Pretty good overall value. Yes, you do get a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic warranty. That's very nice. So as far as fuel economy, you get 27 mpgs, 24 city, 33 highway. Overall, guys, really good value. But let's continue walking around over here. Of course, you got your push to open gas tank. No easy fill, unfortunately, but it is nice they gave you the push to open nevertheless. You got your LED taillights with your reverse light right here. But we can take a step back. Of course, the exhaust tips are nice, but you're gonna see that they don't fit flushly with the surrounds. Back here, you got your parking sensors too, but that's about it. Let's take a step back and let's start this Giulia up and hear how she sounds. Alright guys, so that was of course the sound of the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo sold by Alfa Romeo for the Giulia and the Stelvio, but let's check it out right here. It's nice to get struts, but there you have it. It does look pretty large under this hood. So there's no strut tower brace that goes across your engine bay, but if you guys can pick it up, you do get braces that go across the back of your frame. So again, nothing over here like we do get on the Stelvio, as you guys can pick up over here, which is unfortunate. That would add to the overall stiffness of the chassis, but they did give you 2 sets of braces right here. But overall, this is your 2-liter 4-cylinder. It's going to make 280 horsepower and 306 pound-feet of torque, enough to get this thing to 60 in about 5 seconds, which is very impressive for a vehicle that's under $40,000 in the sports sedan segment. But all in all, let's shut this hood, take a step back, and you guys can check out those daytime running lights. And if they're flashing, I apologize. I don't know how to stop that. But that's about it for the front end. Let's go ahead and check out the interior on the 2021 Alfa Romeo Giulia. And as soon as we step inside, you're going to notice that you get soft touch materials for the upper part of your door panel. Beneath that, I'm not sure what this material is, but I like it. It is grained really nicely and it looks really good. It's throughout your entire interior. But anyway, coming down here, you got more soft touch materials, which is nice. I wouldn't really expect this area to be soft. More soft touch material over here. I love how it's red, contrasts with the interior very well. With a leather wrapped armrest. No, it's not the softest, but it is pretty soft, definitely soft enough. And I like the red contrast stitching. As far as the windows, they're all power one touch up and down. It's nice they gave you that, simply one touch, and they are dual pane too for the front, so it's going to be extremely quiet on the interior. You adjust your mirrors right here, and you got your trunk release and your hood release down here. But over here, as far as storage, you probably can't fit a 12-ounce bottle. Not the most storage, but you can fit a bunch of snacks and some car accessories with no problem. But as we step inside over here, you do get an Alfa Romeo nameplate. It's not aluminum. It would be nice if they gave you that. As far as the seats, here's your 3-person adjustments, and you got your 6-way adjustable seats right here with 4-way lumbar control. But check out the seats. They're going to be red. They look really good. I love the headrest with your Alfa Romeo name on it. They're very soft, of course. But as far as the leather, it's going to be pretty thick, but very soft. These are very comfortable seats. I was really impressed as soon as I sat inside. Very sturdy bolstering extensions. They do keep you in place very nicely. And again, I love the headrest. But that's about it. Let's step inside this Giulia Sprint. And okay, first thing you notice is the steering wheel. Of course, you're gonna have this flat bottom, really nice leather wrapped steering wheel. It's not the thickest. It's not as thick as the BMW M steering wheel, but it does feel really good in your hands, and the flat bottom definitely makes it look cooler. And speaking of cool, the start stop button is on the steering wheel, just like the Ferraris. Definitely a cool touch for this 2021 Giulia. But in the middle, of course, you got your horn. Also feels really good, soft touch plastic. You press it, surprisingly loud, pretty aggressive sounding horn. Definitely fits this Giulia very well. But that's about it for the steering wheel. Over here, you got your media controls. You can skip, you can adjust your volume with your voice commands. Over here, you got your cruise control settings, and you can turn off your cruise control right here. But behind that, you got your turn signals. They do feel pretty high quality. They don't feel quite as high quality as the new turn signals you get in the Kia Hyundai products, but they still feel pretty nice. Up top for the dashboard, more soft touch materials to be expected with a vehicle in this segment. Let's turn down the air by 1 just so you guys can have better quality. But over here up top, you do get a auto dimming mirror. However, this is straight out of my grandparents' 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokee. This is a very dated mirror. It would be nice if they gave you something that's a little bit more frameless and modern, but again, not a big deal. It's probably my only complaint on this interior so far. But anyway, you can check out all this trim over here. You're gonna have soft touch red accented plastic going all throughout the interior. It looks fantastic. And you got the same trim, this grainy little trim. I don't know what this material is, but I like it. So here you got your 8.8-inch display with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Over here, you got your music settings. Over here, you got your phone settings with your driver's assistance. It's cool that they give you vehicle information and performance pages. So you can see your oil pressure, you can see your boost pressure, torque, and all that. Very impressive. You can see your overall settings. We're not going to adjust anything too much, but over here you can adjust your lights. You can change your clock, date, passive safety, convenience, comfort, cluster. So you can even adjust your cluster. We'll see what that allows you to do. So you can have your warning buzzer. You can adjust that. You can show your text messages, and it allows you to see what speed you're going no matter what screen you're actually on. But other than that, guys, that's about it. We can go back to the home setting, and this is a touchscreen. However, we still also get this dial over here where you can press the button to go home and press the settings right here. So you can also do it like this if you don't like using the touchscreen, but we'll go back to where we were before. Beneath that, you're gonna have your climate settings with your air vents right here. You got auto climate, of course. No heated seats, unfortunately. No cooled seats either. But that's of course optional on this vehicle. Down here, you got your USB port with your 12 volt right here, and this is pretty high quality. This little 12 volt cover, but you can throw your radar detector right there. But down here, no wireless charger over here, but this is a good storage compartment. You can probably fit a phone or two in there. And the cup holders, they are rubberized, they are large, and they are located in front, so you don't have to be hitting your elbows against your cups while they're in the cup holder. But back here, you got your gear selector. Of course, you simply push this button that's back here, and then push the gear selector forward. You're in reverse. Speaking of reverse, you can check out your backup camera. Not the best resolution, and you can see your sensors next to it. But speaking of the camera, even though the resolution's not that great, you can still see everything you need to see, and you do get guidance markers with trajectory. But anyway, put the car into drive by pulling it back all the way. Push it to the left, you're in manual mode. Pull it back one time, you go up a gear. Push it forward, you go down a gear. That's the way that it should be. But it would be nice if this vehicle came with paddle shifters. I know on the sport package you get those massive aluminum paddle shifters, and those are fantastic. I love those. But behind that, you got your drive mode selector. You can adjust between dynamic, normal, and A. I'm not quite sure what A stands for, but for the purpose of this video, we're just going to be switching between normal and dynamic. And over here, I'm sure your passengers will appreciate this. They can skip the songs. You can change the volume right here. Very convenient location. And right here, you got another little cubby. You can put your key in here. That's where I've been throwing the key for this review. But back here, this is where your wireless charger would be if it was optional in this car. However, as we saw on the window sticker, this car is just not equipped with it. But it's still a good little storage compartment for your phone. And over here, you got a really soft, very nice quality armrest. Very nice red leather. Definitely a fan of that. You open it up. Not the most storage. You could probably fit 2 cans in there, but you got your USB port, you got your USB-C, and an aux port. That is nice. But let's shut this up and take a look at these gauges. So for the tachometer, it goes to about 5,700 RPM. Not the highest revving redline, but this engine does have quite a bit of torque. And it does sound pretty good on the interior, but you can check out your digital speedo right here. You're gonna have it no matter what screen you're in. But when you press the mode button over here on the wiper blade, you press the button and you can change the screen. Now you're looking at your active fuel economy. You can see your digital speedometer at all times. And over here, you can see your trip settings with your digital speedometer. But when you put the car into dynamic mode, now you have different overall screen settings. So you press the button, now you can see a display where you see your G-forces. So when you accelerate, your G-force will go back. When you brake, the G-force will go forward. And as you turn, obviously, it'll be going side to side. So that's pretty cool that you can see that at all times while still having your digital speedometer up top. But we'll put the car back into normal mode for now. That's where we're gonna start this review at. And let's change this display so we can see, I like this display, so you can see the fuel economy and the speed you're driving at the same time. But over up top, you can see what the temperature is outside. You got a clock too. That's not accurate. It is not 8:10 in the morning. But over here, you got your speedometer goes to 160 with your fuel level to the right. But that's about it for the gauge display. To the left, you got your lighting controls. This vehicle does have auto headlights. You can adjust your display brightness right here, and you can turn off your auto start stop right here. We'll do that for the purpose of this video. And you can also turn off your parking sensors if you would like to for one reason or another. But over here, you got your glove box. Let's check it out. You press the button. It is damp. It's lined with felt, very high quality and very large. You could easily fit like 10 to 12 license plates in there with no problem. And you got a little bit of an additional hidden storage right here. You can put some secret stuff in here if you would like. But that's about it for the front seat, guys. Let's check out the back, see how much space is offered back there. All right, guys, stepping in the back seat of the 2021 Giulia Sprint. So up top over here, you are going to get some soft touch materials. That's pretty impressive for a vehicle in the segment in the back seat. Down here, more soft touch plastic, and it's red too, contrast the interior very nicely. Down here, soft leather armrest, not the softest again, but it is padded with leather. I like the contrast stitching and decent storage over here. Down here, not the most storage, but you might be able to actually fit a 12-ounce bottle in there if you squeeze it in tight enough with the speaker right here. But Coming inside, you're gonna see that these seats, they go all the way to the frame, and they are really beautiful red color. So since they go all the way to the door frame, it's gonna be pretty couch-like for your rear passengers. And the headrest itself, not as soft as a front headrest, to be expected, but overall, pretty beautiful interior. Let's take a step inside and see how much space we got. So I'm 6 feet tall sitting behind my seat settings. I have about an inch or two before my knees would be starting to touch. So anybody that's under 6 feet tall should have absolutely no problem sitting back here. However, if you're pushing 6'2" or taller, you may not want to be sitting behind your own seat settings in this Giulia. But other than that, guys, very nice back seat. I have a ton of headroom, plenty of space, very comfortable seats. As far as storage, you have 2 cargo nets behind both seats. The air vents, you don't get a third zone climate, but these air vents, you can adjust how hard the air blows, whether you pull to the left or right. Down here, you get a USB port, no USB-C. That's unfortunate, but not a big deal. But as far as over here, you do get a little center armrest with a string, very softly padded armrest, and you get 2 cup holders as well. This armrest is really softly padded. It's even softer than the armrest up front. But anyway, that's about it for the back seat, guys. Let's check out the trunk real quick and then take this car out for a drive. All right, guys, so to open the trunk, you simply press the button right here and the trunk pops open for you. Very nice. And you are gonna have a little bit of cubbies over here to protect your hinges from crushing your cargo. So it is nice that they gave you that, but you guys can check out the space. Pretty impressive, pretty competitive with vehicles in this segment. And you can pull the rear seats down 60-40 by pulling these latches right here. And right here, you got a little bit of a cubby that you can throw a grocery bag in if you need to. But overall, we'll take a step back. You check out the size of the opening. Very impressive, very competitive with this segment. But that's about it, guys. We can shut this trunk, take a step back, and let's take this car out for a drive. All right, guys, now we've just about seen everything we need to see with the inside and outside of this all new 2021 Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint. Let's take it out for a drive. And like we said, we're gonna start off in normal mode and see how dynamic mode changes it up. So on the gas, about a third of the way, very strong acceleration, guys. It definitely gets up to speed really quickly. And the engine, it's not loud, but it has a nice sound to it nevertheless. And throwing it into this little turn right here in normal mode, the steering is really sharp. It's kind of light in normal mode, but I guess that's what you would want normal mode for, to have the effortless feel of the car. And then dynamic mode is to have the fun part of the car. But let's step out onto this road over here and see what we got. But okay, stepping out over here in normal mode, on the gas about a third of the way, pretty strong, leaning into it about halfway. There we go. Okay, wow, that's pretty impressive. Definitely gets up and goes when you lean into the throttle, guys. Very strong acceleration. And this is still normal mode. We're gonna throw it into dynamic in 1 second, right after this stop sign. But all right, throwing it into dynamic mode. Check to see if there's any cars coming. And okay, much more sensitive throttle on the gas about a third of the way and leaning into right here. Wow, very impressive overall. We got these military vehicles coming out, so we got to watch out for them. But okay. Whew. Very impressive. So on the brakes, very nice. But you see the sharp turn coming up. We'll come into it a little bit hot on the brakes. Throwing it in, guys. This car stays really flat, and coming out of the turn, definitely some good pickup, guys. This is a really fun sports car. Definitely impressive. And in dynamic mode, as you see, you are going to be holding the revs when you are driving aggressively, but as soon as you calm down, the transmission picks up your intentions and you do go down to the overdrive gears. But just throwing it around right now in dynamic mode, the steering feels really sharp. It doesn't feel as sharp as it did in the Stelvio we reviewed, but that's probably because of the tire differences. This vehicle is on 225 tires, whereas the Stelvio was on 255 tires, so it gave you a little bit more grip and a little bit sharper feel for the initial turn in. But not to say that this vehicle doesn't also feel incredibly sharp, but as soon as we got some space, we'll step out onto this road over here. And very good response in dynamic mode, really good. And it does go up to pretty high RPMs even with limited throttle, and it gets up and goes really well. But we're going to be approaching a stop sign over here. It'll give us a good opportunity to see how this car can accelerate off the line and see if there's any wheel spin with this rear-wheel drive system. But okay, complete stop, just mashing the gas pedal. Little lag, boom, no wheel spin. Wow, and it gets up and goes really quickly. Wow, this thing moves. We don't have to push it much farther than that, but wow. Whew, this thing is definitely not a slouch, guys. This is a fantastic sports sedan. Let's throw it into normal mode because We don't need to beat this car up too much, but in normal mode, immediately the transmission definitely calms down. It's no longer going to be nearly as aggressive. So for daily driving, normal mode should be sufficient, but dynamic mode definitely makes things more fun. But stepping out onto this road again, we're going to approach that sharp turn that we already went to, but this time we're going to do it in normal mode, and definitely less response in the throttle, but leading into it about halfway, it starts to really pick up, and it does go to almost redline even with half throttle. But on the brakes, throwing it in, it is so sharp, guys. And coming out, good torque. And since we're in normal mode, it didn't keep us in the lower gear, so that's basically the difference between the modes. It's all about how aggressively tuned the transmission is. So in the Stelvio, I always keep it in dynamic mode whenever I drive it, but in this car, I may actually keep the car in normal mode because the transmission is a little bit more sportly tuned in this car, I feel like, and the throttle, since it's just rear-wheel drive, you don't want it to be too sensitive, or else like in bad weather conditions you may spin out unintentionally. But overall, this car is fantastic. I'm having an absolute blast, and considering the base price is under 40,000 bucks, I really don't see how you can really beat it. But other than that, guys, let's step out onto this road right here one more time, just calmly on the gas, barely on the gas. It gets up and goes very well, very good torque in this car. And with these dual pane windows, you don't really hear any wind noise, you don't really hear any road noise either. This is a surprisingly good luxury car too. It's not just a performance sports car, so it's really the best of all worlds. You get everything with this car. I can definitely see why this car is so popular. But all in all, guys, I'm super impressed with this 2021 Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint. Very great value, under $40,000 base price. Truly remarkable when it comes to value. You got a great overall sports car. You got all the luxury you could ever want or need. On the gas right here, the car doesn't step out, even without traction control kicking in. The car is so planted, even with the rear wheel drive, even with the 225 tires. You got a really planted car, and throwing it in, you guys can see it's a really, really capable sports sedan. But that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video half as much as I enjoyed making it. Huge thanks to Alfa Romeo and Maserati of St. Petersburg for making this review possible. Great group of guys. That's where my parents purchased their Stelvio from, so I would definitely recommend anybody in the Florida area looking for a new car, looking for a fun car, to definitely check these guys out. They are really, really kind. They're fantastic to be around. I got truly nothing but great things to say about them. But other than that, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, join the W.T.F family. If you already subscribed, thank you so much. You know, I have endless gratitude for all the subscribers. You know, the channel's just not possible without you guys, and I really appreciate all your guys' constant support. But again, guys, had a great time making this video, and I hope all of you have a great day.